It's a beautiful day in Atlanta, Georgia, and I am going to do my best on this first podcast. Basically, what I'm going to try to do is take the various wine reviews and kind of put them in a vocal format so you guys can listen to them if you're in the car or you just want to learn more about one of these wines. Now, you're going to have to give me a little bit of patience because I kind of prefer the written word, but I'm going to do my very best here, and I'm going to try not to make it exactly like I'm reading it, but I'll do my best. Anyway, let's get started. Today we're going to be exploring the 2020 Storyteller Merlot. Every wine has a story, and this wine, entitled Once Upon a Dream, is no exception. Hailing from the renowned vineyards of Sonoma County, this wine embodies the tale of tradition, passion, and the magic of the terroir. Each sip unravels a chapter of a sun-kissed vine, meticulous craftsmanship, and the harmony of flavors that dance on the palate. As you pour a glass, prepare to be transported to the rolling hills of Sonoma, where every bottle captures a dream waiting to be told. So let's get started. Once Upon a Dream wasn't just created, it evolved. From vineyard selection to harvesting at the optimal moment, each decision was pivotal. The Sonoma sun and soil played their parts, fostering the grapes with deep character. Winemakers, acting as narrators, took these grapes and wove them into a vinous tale. Through fermentation and aging, the Merlot matured, gathering layers of depth. Now bottled, it's a story of nature, nurture, and the nuanced winemaking. So let's go over some of the core facts about this wine. We're tasting the 2020 vintage. Its origin is Sonoma County, California. From a varietal perspective, it's 100% Merlot. The alcohol content for this wine is 14.1 by volume. The basic tasting profile, just think of plum, black cherry, and a hint of cocoa. This wine is fermented in stainless steel and then barrel-aged in French oak. And ideal pairings for this include grilled meats, pastas, and soft cheeses. Now, the price point is between $20 and $25, depending on where you find it. So let's talk about the 2020 vintage in terms of winemaking. 2020 was one for the books. It was marked with unpredictable weather patterns and external challenges. The season started with a mild spring, providing optimal conditions for bud break and flowering. The summer months were punctuated with warm days and cool, foggy nights, a signature climate for Sonoma County. It helped preserve acidity and promoted flavor development in the grapes. A few heat spikes in the latter part of the growing season accelerated ripening, but they were soon balanced by cooler periods, ensuring a longer hang time for the grapes. The grapes for the 2020 vintage were hand-picked in early October, right before the significant rainfalls that characterized the latter part of the month. This vintage was also particularly challenging because we're in the middle of a global pandemic, not to mention the widespread wildfires in California. However, the Storyteller vineyards were spared from a direct fire impact, and though the smoke did pose concerns for many vineyards in the region, the Storyteller vineyards were okay. The resulting wines from this vintage are reflective of the year's challenges, but showcases the resilience of the vines and the meticulous efforts in the vineyard and the winemaking team. The 2020 Storyteller Merlot offers a beautiful expression of the varietal, concentrated flavors, good structure, and an elegance that's become the hallmark of Sonoma Merlots. In essence, the 2020 vintage, despite its challenges, managed to produce wines with depth and character, and the Storyteller Merlot is a testament to that. Now, the vineyards are pretty interesting. The Sonoma vineyards that birthed the Once Upon a Dream Merlot are as storied as the wine they produce. These plots of land, enriched by history and influenced by the unique Sonoma microclimate, play a significant role in crafting this standout Merlot. The vineyard spans rolling hills, and the vines are planted at various altitudes. This topography, coupled with the maritime influence of the nearby Pacific Ocean, creates a daily temperature flux that's integral to the grape's ripening process, ensuring a balance of sugar and acidity. The soils are a complex blend of loamy clay, volcanic ash, and fragmented rock. This mixture provides excellent drainage, making the vines work harder to find water, and in turn developing deeper roots. The result is grapes with an intensified flavor profile and true reflection of the terroir. Parts of the vineyard are home to old vines, some dating back even a century. Now, these veteran vines, they yield fewer grapes, but the ones they produce are deeply concentrated with flavor, adding depth and complexity to the wine. Embracing a sustainable approach, the vineyard employs organic farming techniques. They shun chemical pesticides and herbicides. Cover crops are used between the vine rows to prevent erosion, and they improve soil health and encourage beneficial insects. To ensure the utmost quality, Storyteller grapes are precision picked during the cool early morning hours. This meticulous method ensures that only the best clusters make it to the winery, preserving the fruit's integrity. The magic of the Once Upon a Dream lies not just in the winemaking, but in the rich, vibrant soils of Sonoma, the hands that tend the vines, and the unique climate that blesses the grapes. It's a tale of nature and nurture, of dedication and passion, embodied in every bottle. Now, obviously, we all know that Sonoma Merlots have a rich cultural and historical significance, so let's go through a couple of those. Sonoma County, with its rich tapestry of history, culture, and viticultural significance, serves as the perfect backdrop for the Once Upon a Dream Merlot. The tale of this wine is deeply intertwined with the cultural fabric of the region and the evolution of winemaking in Sonoma. Sonoma is one of California's oldest and most esteemed wine regions. The Spanish missionaries planted the first vineyards in the early 19th century, and since then the area has blossomed into a globally recognized wine-producing region. The Once Upon a Dream Merlot is a tribute to this long-standing tradition, encapsulating the history in every sip. Sonoma's indigenous communities have a rich oral history of tradition. Storytelling has always been an essential aspect of the cultural identity in the region. The naming of this Merlot, Once Upon a Dream, plays homage to this heritage, suggesting that every bottle has a story to tell, connecting the past and the present. In the late 20th century, Merlot faced a decline in popularity, partly due to the infamous Merlot backlash popularized by the film Sideways. If you haven't seen it, I highly encourage you to. However, wineries in Sonoma, including Storyteller, played a pivotal role in reviving the varietal's reputation. They demonstrated that with careful cultivation and crafting, Merlot could produce wines of remarkable depth and elegance. Now, Sonoma County is renowned not just for its wines, but also for its vibrant art scene. Over the years, wine and art have often intersected, with wineries hosting art exhibitions, music concerts, and literary events. Once Upon a Dream, with its evocative name and artistic label design, perfectly embodies this harmonious blend of wine and art. In essence, the Storyteller Once Upon a Dream Merlot is more than just a wine. It's a narrative in liquid form, capturing the essence of Sonoma's rich history, its cultural significance, and its enduring passion for winemaking. So let's go back in history a little bit. Legend has it that the founder of Storyteller Wines stumbled upon an old journal in a Sonoma antique store. This journal, filled with tales of early winemaking, became an inspiration for establishing the winery. And here are a couple of those stories. You may not have heard of the forgotten Merlot vines, but in the 1980s, a row of unmarked vines were discovered on the property. After some investigation, they turned out to be Merlot vines from a lineage that's thought to have been lost. Today, these vines contribute to the unique profile of the Once Upon a Dream Merlot. The Harvest Moon Festival. Certain harvests would coincide with particularly radiant harvest moons. Workers and nearby residents would gather to celebrate with an impromptu nocturnal harvest festival. Folk music, dancing, and storytelling under the moonlight marked an unforgettable evening. The Phantom Winemaker. A jovial piece of winery folklore talks of a phantom winemaker from the 1800s. Workers have whimsically claimed to feel his presence during the late night hours in the cellar, guiding their hands to craft the perfect Merlot. The 1910 Merlot mix-up. In the early days of Sonoma winemaking, varietals weren't as rigorously categorized as they are today. An amusing anecdote recounts how a visiting dignitary once mistook a Merlot for a Cabernet Sauvignon at a tasting, leading to a playful debate that lasted for years within the local community. And as for a news story, we could call 2020 the vintage of renewal. The year was marked by major challenges, but it brought together a sense of community and resilience. One tale recounts how winemakers from different Sonoma wineries banded together, sharing resources and manpower, ensuring that the harvest was not only salvaged, but thrived. These anecdotes provide a glimpse into the rich tapestry of history, humor, and heart that defines the 2020 Storyteller Merlot and the community that crafts it. Each story is a testament to the passion, tradition, and character inherent in every bottle. Now, in terms of winemaking awards and ratings, especially for this wine, we need to remember that the 2020 Merlot by Storyteller has just begun its journey into the wine world. And while it's still in its early days for this particular vintage, they really just have not had a chance yet to amass much of a collection of awards, but it does show promise in the pedigree of its lineage. Storyteller Winery is no stranger to accolades. Their commitment to excellence, both in the vineyard practices and winemaking techniques, has led many of their past vintages to garner praise and recognition in various wine competitions from top critics globally. Previous vintages of Storyteller Wines have graced the podiums of esteemed wine events, receiving gold, silver, and bronze medals. Critics have often remarked of the winery's ability to consistently capture the essence of Sonoma County in their offerings, blending both tradition and innovation in every bottle. While we eagerly await the official reviews and ratings for this 2020 model, early tastings suggest that it's well on its way to following award-winning footsteps of its predecessors. As wine enthusiasts and connoisseurs from around the world begin to uncork this vintage, we're confident they will continue Storyteller Wine's legacy of producing wines that not only resonate with the palate, but also with the heart. So I get it. All right, let's go ahead and get to the tasting notes. Appearance. The wine displays a rich, velvety garnet hue, reminiscent of the depths of a dream. Its clarity speaks to its purity, with legs slowly descending the glass, indicating it's got a structured body. From an aroma perspective, upon first approach, there's a compelling bouquet of black cherries, ripe plums, and a touch of violet. As it opens up, subtler notes of cocoa, vanilla, and a whisper of smoky oak dance in the background, hinting at its time in the barrel. On the palate, the taste mirrors its aromatic complexity. Luscious dark fruits dominate the palate. Think blackberries, cherries, dark chocolate, covered blueberries. These fruit-forward notes are beautifully balanced with a touch of spice, hints of clove and black pepper. The integration of oak leads to a creamier vanilla character, adding to the overall complexity. So for texture and finish, I'd say silky tannins ensure a smooth mouthfeel, making it approachable yet profound. It's medium to full-bodied with a balanced acidity that carries a myriad of flavors towards a lingering finish. Hints of mocha, toasted nuts, and a touch of dried herbs like sage offer a final memorable impression. Overall impression, the Merlot truly takes one on a journey, reminiscent of an enchanting tale besides a roaring fire. It's a wine that's both reflective and forward-thinking, showcasing the best of what Sonoma County Merlot can offer. So let's talk about food pairings that could go with this, with the 2020 Storyteller Merlot. Think red meat dishes like grilled lamb chops, seasoned with rosemary and garlic. These would beautifully pair with the wine's herbal undertones and cherry flavors. From a poultry perspective, maybe a duck l'orange. The sweet citrus glaze juxtaposed against the savory duck meat draws out the wine's fruity characters. From a vegetarian choice, maybe an eggplant parmesan, layers of cheese, tomato sauce, and eggplant create a balance of acidity and richness perfect for this Merlot. Pasta, I'd probably go with spaghetti and meatballs. A rich tomato sauce with succulent meatballs elevates the wine's berry notes. Cheeses, this was a tough one. I'd probably go with maybe an aged cheddar. The sharpness of the cheddar provides a delightful contrast between the wine's sweetness. And for desserts, at least those that love to have a red with sweets, maybe a dark chocolate mousse. The bitterness of the dark chocolate mingling beautifully with the dark berry notes of the Merlot. Grilled items, maybe a portobello mushroom, grilled with a touch of balsamic. These mushrooms bring out the wine's acidity and earthy notes. And you just got to remember, when selecting food pairings for this type of Merlot, focus on the dishes with the depth of flavor to match the wine's complexity. Given its diverse tasting profile, this Merlot offers is very versatile at the table, ensuring an enchanting dining experience reminiscent of its namesake's dreamlike essence. Now, I'd also like to talk about the seal and sentiment of the wine. I always like to do that, and when one encounters this wine, the initial impressions begin even before the bottle's opened. I mean, the traditional cork sealing of the wine speaks of an age-old winemaking practice, ensuring the contents have matured gracefully, protected from the outer world, yet allowed to breathe just enough. But it's the vibrant orange foil that captures immediate attention. This isn't just any foil, it's a canvas of memories and moments. Delicate drawings of children and families engaged in joyful play and activities dance around the bottle's neck. Each illustration tells a story of sun-drenched afternoons, of laughter echoing through the open fields, of the simple joys of togetherness. This design choice is not merely aesthetic. It evokes the essence of the wine's name, Once Upon a Dream, reminding us of tales of our childhood, of the dreams we once had, and of the stories we've lived. Every sip of this Merlot is not just a taste of the terroir in Sonoma County, but a journey through stories, those depicted on the bottle and those that we bring with us. Now, in terms of serving tips for this bottle, Optimal temperature, let's talk about it. Merlot thrives when slightly served below room temperature, around 60 to 65 degrees Fahrenheit. This temperature accentuates the wine's intricate flavors and smooth texture. If the bottle's been stored in a cooler setting, allow it to sit for maybe 15 minutes before serving. Now, given the young nature of this 2020 vintage, decanting is also recommended. Pouring the wine into a decanter and allowing it to breathe for approximately 30 minutes, it'll enhance the flavors and soften the tannins. I'd suggest you use a large bowl red wine glass, preferably one designed for Merlot or Bordeaux varieties. The wide bowl will allow the wine to breathe and will channel its aromatic bouquet into the rim. When serving, pour the wine slowly to prevent any potential sediment from entering the glass. Standard serving size is 5 to 6 ounces. Although I've seen some people push that to probably too much for one glass, but, I won't hold it against you. While the wine pairs perfectly with a range of dishes, as we went through in the pairing section, serving it alongside a narrative or story-themed evening can enhance the experience. Consider reading passages from a favorite book or sharing personal stories between sips. If you don't finish the bottle, recork it and use a wine stopper. Store the bottle upright in a cool, dark place and aim to consume it within the next 3 to 4 days for optimal taste. Before sipping, swirl the glass gently to aerate the wine, allowing for a full array of the scents to emerge. Take a moment to inhale the bouquet, then sip slowly, letting the wine wash over your palate to discern the various flavor notes. Given the theme of storytelling, consider accompanying each serving maybe with a small note or a quote related to dreams, tales, or adventures, adding a personal touch to each glass. Remember that wine is best enjoyed when you take the time to savor and appreciate it. The 2020 Merlot Once Upon a Dream from Storyteller is designed not just to be a beverage, but a catalyst for stories, memories, and shared moments. I thought I'd talk for a minute about seasonal recommendations, different occasions and pairings that you could do throughout the year. And so when I think of spring, you could celebrate the rebirth of nature with outdoor picnics and garden gatherings. The bright flavors of this Merlot can complement the blooming surroundings. Pair it with maybe grilled lamb chops, rosemary and lemon zest, fresh salads with berries, or light pasta dishes with spring vegetables. In the summer, just remember that this wine is ideal for some warm summer nights under the stars, sharing stories around a bonfire or beach gatherings. Pair it with barbecued meats, especially chicken or pork, fruity glazes, or charred vegetable skewers. In the autumn, as the leaves turn, this Merlot can be a centerpiece for harvest festivals, Halloween parties, quiet evenings by a fireplace. Pair it with mushrooms, rusted root vegetables, or hearty stews with seasonal produce like pumpkins or squashes. Winter, the rich and dreamy notes of the wine make it perfect for festive holiday dinners, New Year's celebrations, or cozy storytelling sessions during the snowy evenings. Pair it with hearty dishes like a roasted duck and berry compote, or dark chocolate desserts. And don't forget special occasions that you could create, maybe a book club gathering. Given the storyteller theme, bring this bottle to your next book club and let it inspire discussions. Themed dinners, you could organize a Once Upon a Dream dinner where guests could share their most profound dreams or favorite tales. Have fun with it. Each season brings its own set of stories, and the 2020 Storyteller Merlot is versatile enough to accompany all of them. Whether it's this vibrant energy of spring or the relaxed vibes of summer, colorful charm of autumn, or the cozy warmth of winter, this wine can enhance every moment. Now, another common question I get is related to the aging potential of this wine. And remember that the Storyteller Merlot is hailing from the acclaimed terroir of Sonoma County and thus possesses innate qualities conducive to graceful aging. Here's a brief overview of what I would think for an aging potential. When you think about it in its current form, this is 2023 when I'm recording this, the wine's still relatively young, with a vibrant, fruit-forward flavors, balanced acidity, supple tannins. At this stage, it's highly enjoyable, especially for those that appreciate the younger wines in general and what they bring to it. I would highly encourage you to enjoy it right off the shelf. Now, if you wanted to age it like, short to midterm, 1 to 5 years, let's say by 2028, with half a decade in the bottle, the Merlot's primary fruit notes will start to meld seamlessly with secondary characteristics like leather and tobacco and earthy undertones. The tannins will soften further and make the wine smoother on the palate. For those looking to explore this aging journey for this Merlot, it's advised to procure multiple bottles. Enjoy one now and save the others for future milestones to appreciate the wine's evolution over time. Always monitor stored wine periodically to ensure that it's aging as anticipated and that's not past its prime. So you may be wondering about similar wines. If this is a wine that you've really enjoyed and it's piqued your interest, there's several other wines, particularly from Sonoma County, that offer a similar palate experience and a narrative charm. So here's a few that come highly recommended. The Rodney Strong Merlot from Sonoma. This wine is a staple from the region. Rodney Strong's Merlot boasts dark fruit flavors and a touch of herbaceousness. The wine is a round mouthful, structured tannins, and similar to Once Upon a Dream. The Sebastiani Merlot from Sonoma. This wine brings forward a mix of dark berry aromas with hints of cocoa and toasted oak. Its plush texture and refined tannins have made it a favorite amongst Merlot enthusiasts. Dry Creek Vineyard Merlot from Dry Creek Valley. With its lush, fresh fruit character combined with spices and a bit of chocolate, this Merlot is well balanced and offers a complex profile akin to Storyteller's rendition. The St. Francis Merlot from Sonoma. A more mature choice, this wine is known for its vibrant red cherry, toasted oak, vanilla flavors. Smooth finish and balanced acidity makes it a great alternative to Once Upon a Dream. And then the Benzinger Merlot from Sonoma, biodynamic offering. This Merlot showcases deep fruit flavors, velvety tannins, and a hint of vanilla. It stands out for its sustainable farming practices and its dedication to showcasing the natural terroir. All of these wines share a bond with the land of Sonoma County, presenting flavors and profiles that are indicative of the region's diverse terroir. If you've enjoyed this narrative and the taste journey of Once Upon a Dream, then these alternatives could also ensure that the story continues. Now, looking at legacy, Storyteller Wines carry a rich tapestry of tales that have shaped its history. With a lineage tracing back to the early vineyards of the region, the Storyteller name is synonymous with passion, innovation, and the art of winemaking. Each bottle produced under its label tells a unique tale about the land and which it comes from and the hands that craft it. The Once Upon a Dream vintage is not just a bottle of wine. It's a chapter in the ongoing saga of the Storyteller estate. It represents the culmination of generations of knowledge combined with modern techniques and an undying quest for excellence. This particular Merlot stands as a testament to the winery's commitment to producing wines that not only reflect the terroir of Sonoma, but also the spirit of innovation. And thinking about the future, the future for the Once Upon a Dream Merlot is as promising as the past is storied. With each passing year, Storyteller Wines gain a deeper understanding of its vines, soil, and the unique microclimate of its estate, ensuring that future vintages will only improve in quality and complexity. Plans are already in motion for sustainable vineyard practices, innovative aging methods, and exploratory blends to bring out the best of the Merlot grape. Collaborations with renowned winemakers from around the world are also on the horizon, aiming to infuse the traditional storyteller approach with the new perspectives and techniques. Furthermore, the winery is set to expand its vineyard holdings, ensuring that future generations can continue the legacy of storyteller names. Workshops, wine tasting events, and immersive vineyard tours are also in the pipeline, further establishing Storyteller as not just a producer of fine wines, but as an experiential brand that wine aficionados from around the world would seek out. In essence, the 2020 Once Upon a Dream Merlot is a nod to the rich legacy of the Storyteller estate. It's also a glimpse into an exciting future filled with endless possibilities. So after all that talk, you may be wondering, what do I really think of the 2020 Storyteller Merlot, entitled Once Upon a Dream? Well, without sounding over the top, the wine really is a symphony of depth and complexity, which is understandable when you realize it emerged from the storied terroir of Sonoma County. In a vintage that's already been highly regarded for its exceptional character, Storyteller Wines delivers a Merlot that's both classically structured and surprisingly agile. The nose unveiled itself in layers. First, the signature black cherry and plum of the Merlot, then whiffs of mocha, clove, and a touch of forest floor, adding a wonderful depth and intrigue. On the palate, it's supple and velvety, with balanced acidity providing a fresh counterpoint to the wine's natural richness. Fine, integrated tannins suggest a promising future for those patient enough to cellar, and yet there's no sin in popping the cork now and revealing its youthful charm. Sonoma's elegance shines through every sip, capturing the essence of the region's cool climate and diverse soils. There's a poetic quality to the Once Upon a Dream, living up to its evocative name. It's clear that 2020 was a vintage where nature, vine, and winemaker worked harmoniously to craft a wine that tells a tale worth savoring. a must try for Merlot enthusiasts and anyone seeking the soul of Sonoma in a glass. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this. It's quite a different challenge to kind of read through something than it is to write it. But anyway, I'm planning on doing some more of these and hope you enjoy it. Please feel free to leave comments or, pass it around and see if we can get some more people to sign up and subscribe to the channel. But really appreciate it. Thanks so much and have a wonderful day.